Hey, Cogno Movers. It is April 20th, 2024, and we're just a few hours away from the Elevate and Illuminate five-part series launch. Starts today. The first class is called Freedom Unveiled. It's deleting the pattern of shame and guilt. So I wanted to answer a last few minute questions that we've had. And the big one is people want to know, how is this series different from things that we've done before, like Cogno Conscious or the class that launched on the Shift Network last year? First of all, I'd say that every class that Bill and I do is different from the ones before because we're different. It's been a year from the last time we did a class like this, and we're completely different. The world is completely different. And if you've been doing Cognomovement this year, you know you're very different from last year. And if you've never experienced before, of course, it's obviously a brand new experience. But we are thinking differently now than we were before. We're talking about this differently than we ever have before. You guys may not know this, but we've said it many times that, we all do our own sessions daily. When you do a Cognomovement session daily, in 7 days, you're a different person. So imagine 365 days, how different we are, how different our consciousness is and our awareness is, and how different the lens that we're looking through at the world is, and how different the lens that we look at our work through is. So that's a big part of what's new. This time around, this season of this work of clearing the levels of consciousness is about looking through the lens of the emotional state that you're in. So today's class is about shame and guilt. They're the lowest on the energetic scale. And that really means that they pull the most energy from your body, from your consciousness, from your mind, from your spirit. And they're those things that are underlying. Even when we've raised our consciousness, sometimes there are little things that are sneaky in our nervous system that we don't realize are draining energy. A big one is shame about your body. How tall you are, how short you are, how fat you are, how skinny you are, how much muscle you have, how old you are, how not old enough you are. It's crazy. There's these little embarrassments, these little concerns about what we look like that actually are at the level of shame. If you don't realize they're there, they're draining you, they're dragging you down. Today, I saw a woman who I aspire to be when I grew up. She's 103 years old and started writing books at 90 years old. She started writing books. Think about the kind of energy that takes to still be on purpose, on point at 90. Right now, she's 103. She's written many books. That is the kind of energy that becomes available when you delete these levels. Some of the other things that create shame in a person's life and then create the problem of you looking through the lens of that shame, looking at life through this very particular lens, are things like, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in the right neighborhood? If not, are you embarrassed to tell people where you grew up? Maybe your family didn't have a lot of money, or maybe there was a lot of abuse or alcoholism or drug use in your family. Does that still run as a current of shame in your neurology, in your physical body? If it does, there is some aspect of that that is tainting the world that you see right now. That's the big shift in this class. We're really going to be focusing on that you cannot see the world greater than your lowest running energy patterns. So those of us who know this work and are doing it, we know that we constantly want to be reviewing, is there any bit of that left that I can clear out? It's amazing when you do. And it's not so heavy and dark each time. It's just like, oh, look, I just noticed I have a little bit of that humiliation pattern over how my family was treated in the church we grew up or the organization we grew up in. I just felt a little ashamed when I thought about that. You can pluck that thing right out. And that's kind of the process that we're going to be going through. You know, some of the other things that you want to think about here are things that are guilt patterns. You know, if you're a parent, gosh, there's so many little guilts in life of what you could have done, what you should have done. Those are things that are now shaping the lens through which you see your children. If you have adult children and you have guilt about how you raise them, that's the lens through which you still see them. It's tainted. Wouldn't you rather be clear of that? See them for who they really are now. And more than that, even the amazing humans they will become in life. It's so much better. It's so much shinier, so much more interesting to think about. The guilt is something, it's a trick that your nervous system plays on you, and it keeps you in the past. The nervous system is the great time traveler. Keeps you in the past, fretting about that, and projects it into the future for you to worry about later on. It keeps you out of the present. It keeps you out of the present moment of loving those humans that you brought to the planet or fostered or raised for who they really are and who they really could be. It's interesting when you think about the lens that you look through and whether or not guilt or shame from your past is coloring that lens. It's more than coloring it, though. It creates blinders. It paints you into a box of this particular perspective. So over the next 5 months, just one time a month, we're going to be clearing these things out. What's really different is that you have a full month to process that. And you get the replay and you can do it again and again over the month on all the little things that are keeping you in shame and guilt. Doesn't have to be one big one, though it could. The other thing is, Bill and I will be presenting this in a different way. These will be short burst sessions. We're going to hit it hard for a few minutes and rest. Hit it hard for another few minutes and rest. Hit it hard for another few minutes and rest. These sessions are about 50 minutes long. That's a lot of cogno movement. But we've learned that the pauses in between help the body integrate faster. So it's an action-packed 90 minutes. We'll have time at the end for Q&A. And it's a way to really make this year that you begin to become who you really are. And if you've already been working on this, like I said, it'll shine it all up even that much more. You will emerge into the human that you came to this planet to be at the very next level, at the highest level possible for you during this time frame. So we start in a few hours. If you haven't signed up, please do. If you have signed up, we can't wait to see you. So exciting. If you're signing up in the future, watching this later, you can come back and watch the module and catch up with us wherever we are in the series. All right, you guys, if you don't know me, I'm Liz Larson, co-creator of Cognomovement. See you soon.